Hello everybody, today we're going to be looking at factoring and specifically using the box and diamond method when you have A, which is 2, which typically it's 1, and that's the way you do it easier, but when you have a different number, there's a little bit of a difference, so I'm going to show you how to do that in the box and diamond method with an example right now. So first, what we're taking a look at is 2x squared minus x minus 6. So I'm going to draw our diamond right here, and then I'm also going to draw our box off to the side. And these are just going to be tools to help us, and I'm going to walk through it. It's really easy once you got the hand of it. And we're going to start off by labeling our variables. So specifically when a is equal to 2, sorry, I made a mistake. It's supposed to be a is equal to 2, and when a is greater than 1, I combine them. But a is 2, and this is -1 is b, and -6 is c. So special note, make sure you keep the sign with your variable. So -6 is c, not just 6, -6. The sign stay with it. 2 is a, and b is -1. That all looks great. Now we're going to start filling out our diamond. So the top is A times C, which is still the same. Bottom is B. So B is -1. It's just a constant. We labeled them at the top. And A is 2 multiplied by -6, which is C. 2 times -6, we all know, -12. Now we're going to write out all the factors of -12. So this is just standard procedure. Our first factor pair of 12, because we know one of them has to be negative, one has to be positive, but you just start off by listing any and all. So we have 1 and 12, either negative can be on the 1 or the 12. We don't know yet because we haven't listed out all the factors. So just take that off. Keep going. 2 and 6, or 3 and 4. So 3 and 4 are speaking to me the most because -4 plus 3 is -1. You just kind of have to look at all of them and see if you do a combination of positive and negative, it adds up. So 3 plus -4, I'm going to put it in parentheses to make it extra clear. 3 plus -4 is -1. 3 times -4 is -12, which is perfect, and that's exactly what we want. Those both check out. So now we're going to go back to our diamond and write those in. Now it's time to fill in our box. This is really simple. We're just going to take our x squared term and put it in the bottom left, and then we're going to put our constant diagonally across, let me be more specific, in the top right box. In this case, it is -6, or the variable c. So I'm just going to fill this in. So we have 2x squared, and then we have -6 up in the top. And then now we're gonna fill in the values we found from our diamond, and we're gonna put those into our box. So we have 3 and -4. Order doesn't matter as long as you use those numbers and not the number in the original equation. So now this is our setup. Now we're going to find there are 4 numbers that go around. So first we're going to start off with the 2x squared in the bottom left. 2 numbers that multiply to give us 2x squared. So we have the bottom and the side on the outside, and those 2 multiply to give us 2x squared. So the only combination that works is 2x and x, because the only factors of 2 are 2 and 1. There's an imaginary little 1 in front of that x, so that's why that works. X times x, obviously x squared. Moving on, we have the x, and we have to find what times x gives us 3. Pretend it's 3x, so it would just be 3 on the bottom as well. We want to put our sign, so it's a +3, just to keep things clear, and I'll show you why that really matters towards the end. It'll all come together. Next, we have 2x, and we're trying to find negative 4. What times 2x gives us negative 4? Well, your only option is negative 2, because a negative times a positive is a negative, and negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. Now what we have to do is see if negative 2 and 3 give us negative 6 to check our work, and that's true, which means we did everything right. If that didn't work out, something is wrong and you want to go back and redo your steps, but those both check out. Make sure we're keeping our signs, so we have 2x plus 3, and then we have x minus 2. So you want to keep that sign the same. You don't want to change it, or you don't want to forget it. It's a negative minus 2. So that's how we write that. That's our answer. That's it factored. But now we're going to work backwards and check our work. So we started with polynomial, we went down to 2 binomials, and now we're going to go back. So we're going to use a method called FOIL, and this is just an acronym to help you remember the order of multiplication, because it can get really confusing, especially when there's more parts and it gets more complicated. And this is also just really easy way so you can keep track of all the things that you've done and know you got it right. So it stands for first, outside, inside, last. So what does this all mean? I'm going to show you right now because these are just words. So let me show you. So first we're going to start off with the first terms in our binomials. So there's two terms. The 2x is one term, the positive 3 is another term. X is one term, negative 2 is another term. So the first term is 2x. In that first section with parentheses, it's 2x. So we're going to start off with that 2x. In our second set of parentheses, x is the first. So we're going to use that. 2x times x is 2x squared. Next, we're going to look at the outside piece. We're just going to put a plus there so we can add the next piece that we find. So outside pieces are 2x and negative 2, because they're on the outsides of our multiplication situation, whatever you want to call it. But they're on the outside. So 2x times, it's negative 2, the negative stays with the term, gives us negative 4x. And then next we have to do the inside terms. So those are 3 and x. Oops, that's the wrong pen. So that is our third thing we do. So 3 times x gives us 3x. So 2x squared plus negative 4x plus 3x is what we have so far. And then we're going to do our last terms. So in our first set of parentheses, that's 3. In our second set of parentheses, it's negative 2. Remember, the signs stay with it. So 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. So altogether, we have 2x squared plus negative 4x plus 3x minus 6. Now what we're going to do is combine like terms. We have two terms that both have x's, negative 4x and 3x. When you add those together, it is negative x. So altogether, 2x squared minus x minus 6, that's the most simplified version. If we go back to the beginning, that's the same as our original, which means we did all the work right, we got the right factorization, and then from there we checked our work correctly. Be careful when you're doing this that you check properly as well, because that can also lead you to question your work. Again, as always, if you have any questions, if you have any suggestions for other topics, or anything that you'd like me to explain, please let me know. If you would like more one-on-one help, reach out. Check out my Instagram at agtutoringoc. Thank you and have a great day.